Good morning, everyone. My name is Maëla, the French lady who's living down to Florida. I hope you find your happiness in this morning. And I just wanted to let you know that you're never alone, even though sometimes we're feeling so alone. We don't have anybody that we can talk to. And this situation happened basically to all of us at some point in life. Well, if you don't have anyone to talk to, it's because you don't feel comfortable, or you don't feel this space, safe space to exchange and be completely yourself. In your unconscious, you'll feel judged. You're gonna feel, the most of the time it's judgment. So you just rather not talk, and you just rather stay in your bubble. But at the same time, it's really hard to stay alone in your bubble if you want to take action in life, if you want to find the new version of yourself. If you're tired of your old pattern, your old programmation, and then you're like, makes no sense. This cannot stay the way it is. If you don't talk to anyone, and I'm talking about trust, I'm not necessarily talking about therapist, because it's not the solution either. You're just not crazy. You just want to grow. You just want to go in progression in life. You're just tired of this old version of yourself. If you feel that, there's a shift. There's clearly a shift, and it's totally normal. And majority of the time, we feel pretty alone in that. I mean, the situation happened to me back in the days. I don't know, it was like 2010 or something like that, yes. And I went through a very hard time, and at the same time, that's exactly where everybody disappeared. Like my friends was, for instance, not really here. They always have something to do. My family, the same, was busy. It was not a good time. It was never a good time. It gets very hard for me to realize, first of all, that I was pretty alone, because back in that day, I couldn't stay by myself. It was very, very hard to stay by myself for whatever reason. And it's essentially right at the moment that I need the most, almost. I survived though, but I didn't know that back in that day. Back in the day, I thought I will not survive by myself. It was such a hard to stay by myself, and then it was such a hard to go through those hard times and just being by myself. So not talking about the situation that I was going through, and not knowing if I was doing the right things, and receiving any advice, receiving any support, an exchange, a dialogue. You just need, to vent, to get the things out of you, and you just need a listener at that moment. Well, I didn't even have the listener, so that was really hard. But then, now, of course, with the time, after 15 years, I realized that I was guided anyway. So you believe in God, your angel, your ancestor, your higher self, the source, whatever you call that, but the invisible, clearly. And I realized 15 years after that the only things who didn't give up on me was the invisible, actually. So I don't know who. I never really met my guides. So, but I really know that there's someone guided me and showed me the steps, because it was so hard to have no physical, to be by myself and not receiving any support. But you know what? The interesting thing, it's also, universe have a fantastic plan for you. No matter what you think, no matter what situation you are into, keep repeating this to yourself. Universe have a wonderful plan for myself. Because even though the thing doesn't happen the way you were supposed to make it happen, or if you don't have any friends around, or you lose just like 1 or 2 friends, you don't understand their reaction and things like that, I call that the natural selection. It's because universe just tried to make a room. So you lose contact or the support of some friends or even family sometimes. Sometimes it's people really close to you that you will never imagine that you will not having anymore in your life. Well, guess what? These things happen, and I'm pretty sure you already lived this situation in your life. So at that moment, if you take a look around and you don't see any friends, on the hard time, especially on a hard time, it's gonna be hard, but you're gonna go through. That's the first news. And second, it's because universe used this natural selection, as I call that, to make a room, because those friends, you don't need it anymore. For whatever reason, they don't serve you the right way at the moment you are in life. And then universe make a room. Why? Because you need some other connection. You need some other friends around you. And if you're busy with those friends who's make you busy and having a, busy life, you always have something to say, you always have something to do, you cannot really spend this time by yourself, which is very hard when you cannot stay by yourself, but it's necessary. I already did a little video about that. And then you cannot have time or open eyes to see around, maybe in a direction that you were not taking a look before because you were busy with your friends. But then when you're not busy with your friends because they just disappeared or they do not answer the phone to you or whatever, you take a look around on some different places, you don't realize that, and then there's some new connection. And those new connection are your new friend who's gonna believe in you and who's gonna help you to build whatever you have to do, this new version of yourself. Does that make sense? And another news is the void doesn't exist. So when you are by yourself, you're feeling like you're going into the void. But again, if you have the strength, if you find the strength, I use music a lot into those moments. Every time you have those weird moments, you feel in a void, turn nice music on and sing and dance, or go for a walk into nature, no matter what nature you find, if it's park, beach, river, little hill, nothing. You just go for a walk, go to see animals as well, birds, horses, whatever you can find around. But find this connection, because that's gonna be your life saver in a situation that you feel by yourself, too much, alone, it's hard, and into the situation that you see the void, because the void doesn't exist. So don't leave this illusion taking you from your goal, the new version of yourself. Also, the other thing is, because you're used to have people around you, you have to let it go. And let it go. Friendship is not always easy. Actually, it's not easy at all. But that's something that you have to do to leave this natural selection from the universe happening. So don't lose your time with people who do not have time for you. That's another situation what can happen when we're afraid to be alone, and when there's a shift in life from the old version of yourself to the new version of yourself. All your friendships, all your relationship, all your networks gonna move and change. And the best things to do is let it go and trust the universe, who, I repeat, have a wonderful plan for you. I am going to yoga class now, receiving yin yoga, which I love it, with my wonderful teacher, Netha. So don't forget, the void doesn't exist. And if you feel by yourself, there's this momentum. It's hard, but you're going to go through. And it's just the universe making a natural selection for you to have a new connections, who's going to believe in you, in your new version of yourself. You have a wonderful day and lots of love to you guys.